You know, home remodeling shows are increasingly popular and much more advanced compared to when This Old House first aired.
That's for sure. Now, HGTV is taking things a step further, making plans to remodel an entire town.
Yeah, that's right. WCPO 9 News reporter Ali Kramer shows us why one local town is desperate for the hometown takeover so the tri-state can see its true beauty. Its current reality is something many small towns across the country are facing.
Manchester, Ohio is a typical small town with just 2 stoplights, a few small businesses, and a love for Friday night football. But it's seen incredible decline in recent years, so devastating that some wonder if it will ever bounce back.
At one point, it was bustling. It was busy. It was one of the busiest places in the entire county.
Chandra Irwin looks down 2nd Street and remembers what used to be.
Everybody wants to see Manchester come back.
Born and raised in Adams County, Irwin is spearheading the HGTV Hometown Takeover campaign. HGTV is looking for a town of less than 40,000 people. Manchester has less than 2,000, that has historical buildings and has a Main Street area that needs a facelift. Good morning. If you ask those who live and work here, they'll explain why Manchester checks all 3 boxes.
In denial, devastated, couldn't believe it.
I just thought it wasn't going to happen.
That was heartbreaking.
We took a big hit.
The decline in Manchester started in May of 2018 with the loss of the Killen generating station. A month later, JM Stewart Station followed. Joel Hansen was proud to work for Dayton Power and Light, proud of that baby blue uniform.
Once I started at DP&L, which was a dream job to me, honestly, that was the job I'd always wanted.
But after 12 years, Hansen turned in his badge for the final time on June 21st, 2018.
I took pictures looking out my rearview mirror and, you know, looking back at the foggy, gloomy plant, and it was sad. It's still sad. Driving by it going to school, I had to look away because that was, you know, I was proud to work there. That was my livelihood.
And that was just the start of the decline.
We had a bank, I'm looking at it right now, right across the street, that bank just closed. There was a Blake's Pharmacy right next to that closed the year before.
The biggest attraction in town dates back to 1972. Moyer Winery was the hot spot. It brought people into Manchester. It was another incredible blow to the town when it burned to the ground last summer.
When that burned, heartbreaking. I mean, it was just like, oh no, you know, and how do you replace it?
The only thing that's really left is the school. And the facility, it is amazing.
The school is the center of the community, or not just the center, the school is the community.
The town's biggest employer, Manchester Local Schools, has also taken a huge hit.
Back in 2014-15, this is back, of course, the power plants were still here. We received around $7.5 million of local tax funding. Last school year, we received a little over $4 million of local tax funding. So that's a $3.5 million loss of local revenue that we have lost.
Enrollment is also down about 200 kids, which means cuts at every level.
You have to look at some very, very, very good teachers and look them in the eye and tell them that they no longer have a job.
The schools are still performing well.
We haven't talked about chromosomes, we haven't talked about genes.
Making adjustments to still get the job done.
Oh, it's heartbreaking because you can only do so much, and your job, I mean, you still have to teach them.
So is this it? Is this rock bottom?
It's a trickle effect. I'm afraid that it's not anywhere like it's going to get.
But there is optimism about what they do have.
Our river is our asset. Developing our riverfront.
No one understands the importance of the riverfront better than Joe Brumley. He owns the Showboat Majestic.
Especially after the power plant's closing and realizing there's nothing going on here, maybe the Majestic could be the catalyst for the revitalization of the riverboat culture.
Brumley says he's committed to bringing tourism and money back into Manchester.
It's not a question of if we can do it, it's a question of are we going to do it.
Reporting in Manchester, Ali Kramer, WCPO 9 News.
There are more than 5,000 submissions to HGTV's contest, including Moores Hill, Indiana, in Dearborn County. The folks in Manchester think they'll receive an answer about their submission by March 7th.